In America, oh, there are many issues. Violence against women, HIV among women, HIV against, with everybody, but women, women that have lost their power. I have a really, really soft spot in my heart for women that are being abused or forced. So that concerns me. Violence against children, pedophilia, that kind of stuff really just hurts my heart.
I think we should help developing countries, but I think the way we help developing countries is really important as well. I definitely identify as being a feminist, and part of feminism as well, when we talk about global feminism, is that we don't want to just, for example, go over to Vietnam and tell the Vietnamese women, you're doing it wrong. This is how we do it in America. This is how you should do it. Like, that's such not the way that we should do things. And so I would hope, as Americans as well, is that we should really, give the culture and the country the ability to have additional resources, to have a lot of support, to have a lot of our own knowledge. But I think that we should then back off a little bit and let the country or the people, figure out what they should do for themselves. Because I think that that'll be a lot more significant and also a lot more longer lasting than if we tell them, you should do this, this, and this, and then we leave, and then they're the ones that are in that space forever. We might just be temporary, and we definitely shouldn't be any kind of big brother or big sister to the countries.
The thing that does concern me at a personal level is the role, how the very people that we have chosen and elected to represent us, those same people, how they have ended up defining the role and the image of this country, and even the direction of this country as to where the rest of the world is going and how the rest of the world is fitting in. And that is what concerns me. Now, it sounds like a very broad spectrum description, but of course, if you drill down, you then fold into it all the issues that everybody talks about, from environmental issues to political issues of war to economic issues of what is happening to the dollar today, and what is happening with the global economy versus the national economy, and so on and so on. And yes, all of these are contributive factors towards the role and the image and the direction that this country is going. And this is not what the American people wanted. This is not what they were expecting as answers when we had elected people. And even in the coming elections, as we elect people, this is not what we will want, but it's such a roll of the dice. You don't know what you're going to get. Are they going to be able to meet the expectations that you have? So that is what concerns me. It's like, who is going to really do the thinking in the right direction? With regard to the sense of community and how I feel about, or what I have experienced in terms of a sense of community, I have noticed a change with that regard as well. The sense of community that used to be. And I should sort of add a sidebar here and say, okay, this is not just a case of looking at everything fondly because it was in the past kind of a thing. This is something that I really have been observing as a compare-contrast kind of a thing. The sense of community that used to exist in the States, and that I myself have experienced, used to be where, okay, a community in the definitions that we usually understand, that we are a group of people, somebody's in trouble, we'll help them, or we as a group of people, we'll make decisions together. And the community can be whatever defines it as a community that is together because we have the same beliefs, or we live in the same neighborhood, or whatever the loose fitting description that might be for that community. And that they decide to act together or present their ideas in one voice. The sense of community, I feel, in the United States today is different. The community is there, but it's different in the sense that it's no longer, excuse me, it's no longer about, oh, well, we as a community say Z. Now it is more, we are a community, but it's a community with a special interest. So it's a community within a community. We as a community with a special agenda. So yes, I could be living in this neighborhood. That automatically does not make me a member of that community. Because within that community, I could be not what's a good example? I could not be believing in having, and this is actually a real situation in my neighborhood, they're evaluating the possibility of opening, of starting a gravel pit or not, a gravel pit mine or not. Half the community says yay. The other half, the one whose homes are bordering near the gravel pit, are of course saying no. Understandably so. This is no longer a community now, because you now have people who are saying, well, our community, who's we again? Our community is really the ones who are for the gravel pit, and then you have that one saying, well, our community, well, wait a minute, we're now talking about two different communities. It's no longer a single we as the community. They all live in the same town. Now it's a we or a community that is defined by what your agenda is, yeah, or your special interest is. And I have seen that a lot more now happening. You can say it nicely and say, oh, well, it's a subset of a community and so on, but I see it more as a splintering that's happening. So that overall community sense of a sense of comfort is gone. It didn't matter what your agenda was. It didn't matter that you had a different interest than perhaps your neighbors. It was still considered a community. Things still happened in a communal kind of a way. And that's not happening. It's getting more and more splintered and more, well, that's my community, that's, and that is what I'm seeing happening as well. That's isolationist in a lot of ways. You would think it would be the reverse, considering how we are going global, as they say, but it's not. Maybe it's a backlash, who knows?
I think that there are many issues that I'm concerned about, but regarding immigration, regarding the whole immigration process, I think that it's just, unfortunate that, that it's just so, first of all, that it's just so difficult to become a citizen now, and for those people that want to become citizens and want to stay here, that it's just so difficult for them to do that. And I think another issue is just how they're treated, just the way they look or how they speak, that people just treat them differently, and that's just not right.
Basically, racial profile. That's one thing that it's always been, to me, an issue. especially because I live here now, and I realize that it's a bigger problem than what people think it is, and it should be addressed. It should be addressed more. Right now in Loyola, we're having there's a campaign. It's called ARM, Anti-Racist Movement, just because some people have been racially profiled in the campus by police, like by police officers that work for the campus. Other people have been racial profiled by other students. So it's a growing problem. People don't see it, but it is a problem, and it still exists.